Ahoj úžasňáci, já vás vítám u nového podcastu a už 6. rok po sobě to bude shrnutí mého roku a to v angličtině. Dovolím si jenom krátký úvod v češtině. Mimochodem, fakt od té doby, co tento podcast vznikl, což bylo v roce 2019, tak jsem každý rok nahrála shrnutí, takže pro ty z vás, co mě sledují už dlouhé roky, tak předpokládám, že tuto epizodu očekáváte a musím říct, že tento rok patřil mezi ty nejzlomovější v mém životě. Pojmenovala jsem ho jako rok, kdy vůbec nic nešlo podle plánu, naopak všechno šlo oproti mému plánu a to, za celý život se mi nikdy nestalo, aby to, jak jsem si následovný rok vizualizovala, protože samozřejmě jsem si na rok 2025 dělala vizi, plán a tak dále, tak ještě za celý život se mi nestalo, aby ta vize a ten můj plán byl tak odlišný od reality a stalo se tolik věcí, které jsem si nedovedla ani ve snu představit a kdybyste to řekli mýmu já z ledna 2025, tak by asi dostalo infarkt upřímně. Ale zase o to zajímavější tento rok byl, takže jsem moc ráda, že si ho můžu takhle zaznamenat a sdílet to s vámi, že ne vždycky musí všechno jít podle plánu a nemusí to nutně znamenat, že je to konec vašeho života a že se všechno rozpadá a nemusí to nutně znamenat depresi, i když přiznám se, že jsem měla hodně depresí letos a hodně špatných psychických stavů, ale to už k tomu hold patří. Pokud úplně ještě nerozumíte v angličtině, tak vám doporučuji, pokud ještě neposloucháte, tak poslouchat tento podcast na YouTube, on totiž vychází samozřejmě i na Spotify, Apple Podcast a myslím si, že v dnešní době už i Spotify a Apple Podcast nabízí přepisy. Můžete se mrknout a pokud ne, tak si můžete zapnout na YouTube titulky a případně i dvojazyčné titulky díky Language Reactor, já vám to dám zase do popisku a pojďme se na to tedy vrhnout. Okay, where do I start? I prepared notes as usual, but it's always quite difficult to read the notes, comment on it, and not to make it extremely long because I'm worried it's gonna be extremely long even though I'm not planning it to be. But to start it off, I would probably like to say that my intention for 2025 was that this year is gonna be the first year when I finally sort of like chill, lie back, let my business do the work, finally have the passive income I've been working on for the past, 11 years or something. And then I'm just gonna let all the systems work, let all my people who I've hired and trained work on their own. And I thought I would travel every quarter of a year. I bought only vacations prior, so I started 2025 knowing I bought 4 vacations. The first one was, 3 big vacations. No, 4 big vacations. One was supposed to be in May, and it was supposed to be Japan. In July, it was supposed to be a road trip in an RV across Europe. In April, it was supposed to be a trip to Lisbon and the Azores. And I was supposed to spend the whole December in Thailand. So that was the plan. As you can see, I naturally planned on not working so much, or I was planning to work a lot between the holidays, but not at all on the holidays. And since generally I'm used to working all year long, every day, then it would be a huge cut down on my work time, So that was the plan. And I'm just gonna start with January so that you can see how that plan unraveled. So January, I spent New Year's Eve and the New Year's in the Maldives, which sounds like a fairy tale starting to the year, but it wasn't that. It definitely wasn't that. I had terrible fever, terrible chills, and I was basically locked in a room, in a very terrible room with basically no windows in the Maldives. And I felt like I was fighting for my life. I've never been so sick. I unfortunately caught it from my husband, who fell sick, I don't know, like 4 days before I did. And it was the end of the holiday, luckily, so I only spent it was a very short holiday. We only spent 10 full days there, and 2 of those days I was sick. But luckily it was also the days when it was heavily raining, so we wouldn't have done anything else but to be in the room. So luckily I didn't have to miss out on any trips or any activities. But it definitely wasn't nice, and the way back home, which was like a 24-hour way back home in fever with a stuffed nose, that was terrible. And I couldn't even equalize my ears on the plane, so I was in pain. So when I came home, it took me like 2 weeks to get fully healthy, because I also developed a terrible rash. I don't know what the cause of it was. It was probably some like immune reaction, or at least that's what the doctor said. But I had the rash all over my body, and it was extremely itchy. It felt so hot. It was terrible. In January, I also finished my deficit. I lost 5 kilos, so I was happy. I lost I lost more than 5 kilos, because in the Maldives, I lost 2 kilos, because it was extremely active. And also the sickness and everything, so I was really happy about my progress. I also had blood tests done in a Syn lab. I can highly recommend it. I do it every year to make sure that I'm healthy, that I get all the nutrients from the food I'm eating, and turns out I was very healthy. I also started preparing for my campaign in February. And in February, we had a big business studio event, which is our joint company, basically, with my husband. And it was beautiful. We went to a restaurant called Sia. It's one of my favorite restaurants in Prague. And there were like 20 of us or 30 of us. I can't quite remember. And we had this like delicious degustation menu, and we were so stuffed. We spent there like 5 hours basically just eating, and to this day, I would love to just come back and enjoy it again. And then we went to the shopping center Mai, to arcades, and we played some of the games, and it was fun as well. I also started very actively blogging. Yesterday I was editing one of my vlogs, and it was vlog number 58. So it's been over 58 vlogs that I've been publishing weekly now, and I'm loving it. Like, to be honest, not many people watch it. It feels like nobody watches it. It's basically just for me and my friends, but I'm still happy to continue and to proceed with it, because I love it. I love watching it. Like, for example, where or who can get the experience of rewatching their life from 3 years ago or from 2 years ago. It's beautiful to have these memories, and that's another reason why I'm doing these yearly recap podcasts, because I can't wait to listen to them again and remember who I was in 2021, who I was in 2019, who I was in 2025, looking back. And so I just love keeping memories. In February, I also had my first visit to a trichologist who basically saved my hair, because I was on the verge of becoming bald after all the years. I'm probably not gonna go into a lot of details about my diagnosis regarding my hair, but the progress is crazy. I'm in love, and soon it's gonna be a year. Basically it's January now, so soon it's gonna be a year that I've been going there, and it's been one of the best decisions ever. In February, I also had the campaign I started preparing for in January, and this was the first moment of 2025 that definitely didn't go according to plan, and the campaign was a major flop, and it was the first, not last, business failure of the year, I would say. it has taken me quite aback. But like it was the first flop, so I wasn't that devastated by it. I was like, my mindset was still on holiday. I was already like planning a lot of those paid vacations at home, and I had so much fun with it with my husband because like we work a lot. We don't spend that much time together. We basically spend only Saturdays together. So having a project sort of to work on together, because by the way, like it has always been my dream to have a business with my husband. And even though we do have a business together, it's like I'm fully occupied by Výuka I online and I can't take an active role in the other businesses, and the same goes for him. Like he's fully occupied in the businesses, but he doesn't have time to, of course, be occupied by Výuka I online. So we do share a business, but we don't share a business actively, So this was like a really good way to work together on something. And we had, or at least I had, so much fun planning for these vacations because I would watch YouTube videos, I would do research on the internet, I would chat about it with ChatGPT, I would book events. And so basically my mindset wasn't really in my business anymore as it was the years before, and I started dwelling on those holidays. Like I remember that in February it felt like I couldn't wait till May. May felt, I don't know, like hundred of years apart, and I was constantly thinking like I need to add another holiday between January, when we came from the Maldives, like we came back on the 2nd or something. So it was basically a December holiday. So I couldn't wait. So I decided to plan a vacation in Poland, which was in March. It was just a prolonged weekend, but it was amazing. It definitely exceeded my expectations. I still think to those days and memories. And by the way, I have a vlog from it. So if you want to experience a beautiful holiday in Poland, I can highly recommend you to watch my vlog and basically steal my itinerary because it was beautiful. And I think that like February, March, April is the ideal time to go there. In March, I also had my last therapy session. Looking back, I don't know if it was a good idea, but at that point, I was really happy. Like I was excited about the holidays, and I thought that my life is finally figured out, that I'm finally like not gonna be a workaholic anymore, and then I'm gonna enjoy life. And I started a lot of new hobbies, and I thought I was happy, and I thought my life was figured out, but it was far from being figured out, as I was a bit delusional. But like in January, February, and March, I had no reason to think that 2025 is not gonna be the year I thought it would be. Okay, in March I also got my teeth whitened, and it was one of the best decisions. I never like had yellow teeth or anything, but it still made a difference. So if you've thought about it, I can recommend it. It was extremely annoying to wear it because you have to wear this special set that you have to like put on your teeth, and like my teeth were quite sensitive, so I didn't like it. But it took a month, so you can survive it, and then I'll probably have to redo it after 2 years or something. So a month every 2 years, 2 year to having a beautiful white smile. Why not? We also spent a prolonged weekend in Šonov with our friends from our Bible study group. And we played a lot of games. That was basically the intention of the weekend, board games, and I'm a huge fan, like I'm obsessed with board games. So it was one of the best things that could happen to me, to spend a weekend in a beautiful cottage in Morava playing games, and we also played Traders for the first time, and we all loved Traders and watching Traders. And I was so happy to be the, and what's it called? Oh my god, what's it called in Czech even? Věrní a zrádci. Yeah, so, oh my god. I basically just said it. So I was a trader, which I really wanted to be, and I won. Nobody thought I was the trader, and I got to the finale and I won. I also had my first freediving course in March, and it was terrible, let me tell you. I felt terrible because I was the only one from the group that couldn't get to the bottom of the pool, which was 8 meters. It was in Aquapalace, and I just couldn't equalize my ears. They wouldn't work. So I could get to like 4 meters or something, and then my ears were in terrible pain, so I couldn't proceed, and I was crying at the end of the course. But you know, I never give up. So if you those who watch my vlogs or my Instagram, you know that I already have my freediving certification and that I dove to 22 meters in Egypt. But the first experience with freediving, it was far from positive. I just never gave up. In April, I had another business project, and I was trying to heavily optimize my funnels because they stopped working. That was another amazing news, and honestly, even after all the updates, they didn't start working again to this day. So that was basically the second huge business failure of the year, and something that definitely didn't go according to plan. And as you know, I already booked and paid for very expensive holidays, so I was heavily relying on my business to work as it worked all the years before. But that didn't happen. We also had another prolonged weekend in Prague, and we were filming content for my Instagram. We also had Památná slavnost, which is the only Christian celebration that we celebrate a year. We don't celebrate birthdays, we don't celebrate Christmas, Easter, or name days, anything. So we only celebrate Památná slavnost, and it's it's the most important event for us Christians. So that was beautiful as always. I also went to my first MBA event that I, to be honest, hated, but my business and his business partner, they do a lot of businesses, and this seemed like a good business opportunity for the people who are basically unable to have a business on their own, because not everybody can run their own business, but these sort of companies like Amway and others, they are a good way, I guess, to start at least with self-development and to start developing an entrepreneurial mindset, I would say. So that's the reason they wanted to try. And as I found out, it's really important for the wives to be there as well. So I went there. I hated it, but what I wouldn't do for my husband. So I went to multiple other events, and I don't have to do that anymore. Okay, then I went to another freediving course where I learned how to equalize pressure in my ears. Finally, I was so ecstatic. It was beautiful. I managed to dive to 8 meters, and ever since then, I started loving freediving. I also ended a cooperation with with an agency that was in charge of my social media, which was another business failure of the year, because I invested 25,000 a month for them just to run my Instagram, nothing else, just to make posts for my Instagram. And I expected that since I'm gonna be paying this much, I'm gonna get the Instagram running again. I was expecting them to make viral videos since they're professionals, and I was expecting more sales and more business, but that didn't happen. So after half a year that I gave them to sort of work on my business, then and no results came in, I finally decided to end the cooperation and delegate my social media to Daya. I'm just gonna type a message to courier from Rahli who wants to come earlier. Hello. Oh my god, I'm typing it in English. I don't want to do... Oh. Alright, sorry for that short interruption. And so I delegated my social media to Daya. And then one of the first huge personal flops came. And my husband basically told me a few days before that he can't leave for Japan. Like, I'm not gonna go into a lot of details about that, but there is a long story to it, and that would explain why I felt like my life has shattered. I told you that why I felt like my life had shattered. Yeah. So I told you that I was really, really dwelling on all those holidays, and that I wasn't feeling really happy in my life, and I sort of thought that the holidays would make me happy. So I was like constantly living in the future, thinking of the holidays, and then when I would come back from the holiday, I would then again think to the future, think ahead to the next holiday, and I was sort of just like trying to survive until we go to Japan, and like being it cancelled just like 4 days before, when I was like literally counting down the days, it felt like the biggest life tragedy for me at the moment. And it became worse because my husband also told me that he can't leave for the European trip, and that he most likely won't be able to leave for the Azores. And it got worse during the year because he couldn't even go to Thailand. And let me tell you, I had already paid for all those holidays, and I made the terrible mistake of like getting non-refundable accommodations booked. So not only did I lose the flight tickets, which were extremely expensive, I also lost the accommodation. And so basically none of the holidays that I was planning to go on with my husband happened. And those were like, I don't know how to put it, to be honest, because like on one hand, I would love to tell you all the details so that you would understand why it caused sort of like a major depression and major anxiety, because now the way I put it, it sounds like, oh, poor Eliška, her expensive holidays got cancelled. Like, yeah, deal with it. But it wasn't just like that, you know. But this is too personal for me to share, so I'm not gonna. Anyway, May. I thought that May was gonna be extremely depressive, and for the first half of it, it was. But then we decided to build a house and started looking for a land, which was something that really took my mind off the terrible experience, and it got me excited. I think we found a land within a month, and a beautiful land where we're moving soon, hopefully, but not so soon, because that was also a major flop, because everything this year was a major flop. So of course it didn't go according to plan. Anyway, I also started working with a stylist, and I gained confidence in how I dress. So first we started everything out, my whole closet, and then we went shopping, and ever since then I love getting dressed up. I love putting on clothes. I love making outfits, and like the confidence gained. Wow, love it. And I can highly recommend it to any woman. I also started focusing a lot on dancing because I had to find something else to make me happy in life since the holidays got cancelled, and like I literally felt like I had like a middle-aged crisis or something. So I started focusing a lot on dancing. I went on like private lessons 3 times a week with 3 different instructors. So I was investing a lot of time and a lot of money in my dance skills. I also frequently went to Prague for freediving workshops at Aquapalace. So I don't know, I went to like 9 or 10. I really wanted to become like quote unquote a professional freediver. I also started a mentoring with Petr Vojnar with the goal of improving my rhetorical skills, but we ended up going in a completely different direction, and we sort of launched a project Eliška into the offline world, which was another huge step out of my comfort zone, but I was so lost. I didn't know what to do with my business. Everything felt like it was falling apart, and all my like previous marketing and sales strategies stopped working. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do anything to find a new way, because if you don't adjust and if you don't adapt to like business changes and everything, then you can basically like just close your business, because like that's the sad thing about having business, I would say, and especially with AI now, that something that worked perfectly for you, let's say 6 months ago, doesn't necessarily have to work for you, and most likely won't work for you in a few months again. So you're gonna have to come up with a new strategy again, which is extremely tiring and extremely difficult. And another thing I wanted to do and try out was to try a new, very, very specific like course, angličtina pro cestování, and I was hoping this would break my sudden business failure and be the way forward, because before I only had like individual projects and like not very specific services, because for example in individual mentoring, like we can help anybody from any level, any English goals. So it's quite hard to market it somehow. But I thought that if I had like something very specific, that it would be easy to market it. But in June, it turned out during a campaign that it was an even bigger flop. So my business-related depression sort of kept growing. And as I said, I was like desperately looking for ways to take my minds off things. So I decided to start my cooperation with my coach again for another deficit, because I wanted something else to focus on. I wanted to pursue other goals than just the business goals, because everything in business turned out to be a flop. Everything in personal life turned out to be a flop. So I was like, okay, let me like find something that at least I'm gonna be successful in. So I started working out like really hard. I had my personal training plan. I started another deficit, and I loved it. It helped me a lot. I also went on my first solo trip to Prague, because my goal was to learn how to solo travel. And by the way, my original plan was to go to the Azores alone and to Thailand alone. So I thought that I have to learn it somehow, and I'm gonna learn it step by step. So I went to a solo trip to Prague from Wednesday to Sunday, and it was so much fun. I went on 2 freediving workshops. On one, by the way, I met my new friend Terka, who became very important for me that year, and especially for my travel plans, as you'll see, because Courier from Rohlík is here, so we're gonna take a short break. Hey, I'm back, like I never left. Actually, it's not been just a few minutes, it's been full 24 hours, so I'll try to jump back on track to where I left. And by the way, one quick note. Since yesterday, naturally, I've been thinking about what I said here, and I remember saying that it was one of the worst years, and it was, but naturally, you probably won't think it is, or you won't take it that seriously, because I can't share the worst things with you, because they come from the personal life. So you can just imagine that between all these events that I'm talking about, there has been like multiple personal bombshells that affected my mental health gravely. Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave that there. And I think I left off yesterday when I was speaking about my friend Terka that I met at a freediving workshop, and it was really a magical meeting. Because I forgot to tell you that when I decided that I would solo travel, I booked a solo holiday with Freediving Praha, and I was supposed to go with them to Egypt to spend a week at a yacht swimming with dolphins. And it was already a huge step out of my comfort zone. I think it was more of an impulse decision than a thought through decision. And to be honest, I regretted it a little because I realized later that I would really have to share a little room on a yacht. Like, you can't leave the yacht. You're there 24/7. There's no place to hide, literally. And I wouldn't know anybody there. I would spend the room with a stranger. I would share the room with a stranger. And by the way, there was basically no Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi means work for me, and work means safe space. So it got really scary for me. But luckily, when I met Terka, I found out that she's going to Egypt too, and she's going solo too, and she was also worried about it, but she didn't have anybody to go with her. So we became friends instantly because we thought that we would just like share the room together. But it turned out that we have so much in common, and we even decided that we would go to the Azores together. So that was another holiday that I was supposed to travel to solo, but I didn't have to because I found an amazing friend that I could go with. And it's perfect because she's not just a substitution, for František, or she's not just a person I can travel with, but she's a real good friend. Like, we have so much in common. I love her, and like, it was one of the best things I would say that happened to me in 2025 because it made me so happy, and it definitely like shed some light to my very dark days at that time. But back to the my first solo trip in Prague. So I went to those 2 diving workshops. I met Terka. I met up with my girls, Daya and Domcha. I spent a full day at Aquapolas with František, and it was amazing. It definitely did exceed my expectations so much. I didn't expect much from it, to be honest, but it turned out to be one of the best days of the years. Really, like, it felt like we were on holiday. It felt like we were on an all-inclusive vacation, and I can just highly recommend it. Just go to Aquapalas, get drunk on their cocktails, enjoy their food, slide down all the water slides, enjoy whirlpools, and and the sauna world. Oh my god, like, you have to go to their sauna world. It's the best. I also went to my first offline event. Since I told you I started working with Petr Vojnar, and he said that I definitely need to pursue offline partnerships and networking, which I really hated. I was really worried about it, and my first networking event was a real disaster. Like, it was first meet and deal, and it was like terrible for me. It was traumatic. And by the way, I'm not now like rating the meet and deal on its own. Like, I'm just rating my feelings. So it was one of the longest 6 hours of my life that I've ever experienced, and I felt so terrible before, during, and after I felt great because I was so happy it's over. But I sort of knew that, wow, this is the path that I'm pursuing now. So this is something I'm gonna have to do repeatedly, and but I never give up. So at that point in business, I was just a yes man. I said yes to so many things. I said yes to anything, to any business potential. I said yes, and that got me into a very bad rat race, I would say, because ever since June, and ever since me starting saying yes to everything, I became extremely busy. To be honest, I don't think I've been ever this busy, and I've been this busy basically until now, until the end of the year. And it definitely isn't sustainable. Now at the end of the year, I feel very burnt out. I'm gonna tell you. But at that point, I was willing to do anything to get my business back and running. But I'm gonna get to that a bit later. I also went to Holky's Marketingu conference, which was terrible. By the way, I didn't learn anything basically. I expected there would be more marketing know-how. I expected there would be better networking because in the description of the event there was written there's going to be networking, but there basically wasn't. And the thing they called networking, that was so bad. No, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore, but I hated it. But luckily, I met Moncha there, who then helped me start my LinkedIn, which later led to more great opportunities. I also started working on my pronunciation to sound more like an American, and I've been having these lessons 2 or 3 times a week for the past half a year, but I haven't had the lesson basically since December started. Due to some personal reasons that I'm going to talk about later. But I definitely did work on my English a lot. But the thing is that when you're already at a C2 level, it's really hard to see any improvement. So even if you work a lot of hours a week to improve, it's still the differences are so subtle that you basically can't even see them. But it's so important for a teacher, definitely, to constantly pursue better English. Okay, then, what's this note? We were originally supposed to go... Oh yeah, so in June we were supposed to go... No, it was supposed to be in July. Never mind. That was one of the cancelled holidays I told you about, the 3-week European road trip that got cancelled as well. Okay, in July, I had several mini events in Prague. I spent 2 days at Terka's place. I went to multiple freediving workshops. I met up with my girls, Daya and Domcha. I started the LinkedIn cooperation, and I started preparing for an August campaign for mini konverzačky. In August and in July, by the way, my husband was finally allowed to go on a very short holiday, a prolonged weekend really. So ever since all of the holidays started getting cancelled, I sort of lost hope that I would ever go on any other holiday, to be honest. So first I was a bit wary about Vienna. Yeah, we decided to go to Vienna. But as it was approaching and we were still allowed to go, I started really looking forward to it, and I started dwelling on it again because in summer, I think summer was the most difficult period, definitely the darkest days that I've experienced. So let me tell you, I was really ready to go on holiday, on a short, prolonged weekend just to Vienna, but any sort of holiday. And guess what? On our way to Vienna, when we had already packed everything, prepared everything, especially work-wise, in the middle of the journey, somewhere on D1 highway, we got into a car crash. So actually there has been really heavy traffic. We were in the left lane, and luckily we weren't driving that fast. We were driving 90 or 100 kilometers per hour, but suddenly the car in front of us started braking heavily. It basically broke, it was braking to a full stop, and so we had to stop as well. But the car behind us, they didn't keep safe distance, so they hit us, and it was a huge Range Rover. So the crash was really it was a big crash. It basically ruined my whole like back of the car. And we had to wait for a car to pick us up and to drive us back to Pilsen because we were like already 3 or 4 hours on the road, we were 3 hours on the road. So we had to wait for like 4 hours for the car to get there. And then we went another 3 hours back home. So we arrived back at home at like 1 or 2 a.m. No holiday, just a crashed car, which by the way, was crashed so bad that it took 1 month and a half to be repaired. So that was like, I don't even want to talk about it, and I don't even want to think about it because like it's basically it's a brand new car. Like, it's not brand new because I bought it 2 years ago, but before it was brand new, and such a major crash definitely like took a lot of its original value. They made my insurance more expensive because of it, even though I didn't do anything to the car, and the car lost, I don't know, like 200,000 of a value just like that, and nobody ever compensated me for it. And it took them like 3 weeks to something to arrange at least a replacement car for me. So I basically for 3 weeks I couldn't leave my house because I didn't like have a chance how you know. So oh my god, it was so frustrating. So but instead, luckily, my husband has a car, so we weren't like, it wasn't like both of us were glued to our apartment. So we went to a short like trip to Prague, and we booked a hotel just to compensate for it, because let me tell you, like, I usually spend like 3 hours packing my suitcase, and I was really looking forward to that holiday. So not going, having my car crashed, and also having to unpack the suitcase that I was packing for 3 hours the day before. My husband decided that I definitely need at least some holiday. So we went to a hotel in Prague, we went to zoo, to planetarium, and somewhere else as well. Yeah, we had the most amazing time in Prague. August was also a lot about house planning. So we had the final specification. Did I tell you that we already bought the land? So we bought the land, I think, in June. And we basically like also closed the deal on the house in like July, and in August we had like final specifications, bathroom planning at Siko. We also tried to plan our kitchen with IKEA, but it wasn't to our liking that much, so we eventually chose Lamont, which made it perfectly to like the design of the kitchen from the Lamont, even though it's really expensive. It's like 500,000 crowns. So like we definitely didn't want our kitchen to be so expensive. Like our budget for kitchen was 300,000 like caps. But so that wasn't the case in the end, because we fell in love with the kitchen. And we also met with our project manager in Karlovy Vary. That's basically in charge of the whole construction, I would say, of dolní stavba, I don't know how to put that, and like the garden, the planning, the building permit, and all of these things. In August also there was another meet and deal. This time it was great. I really enjoyed it. I already knew like what's it gonna be like. So and I was ready. I was really great at networking. I made amazing deals there. So it definitely did exceed my expectations once again. And then in August we decided to try Vienna once more. It was the last week of August, and the trip to Vienna was amazing. Like, I can't stress enough how amazing it was. And again, there is a vlog on my channel, so you can definitely watch it because it's worth it. Like if you can go to Vienna and to Prater especially, like definitely go. And we definitely didn't only go to Prater, like everything about Vienna was amazing. But unfortunately it led to my husband not being able to go to Lisbon. And let me tell you, like I because when you buy tickets, you usually can't reschedule them, especially if it's a low-cost company, which this was TAP Air Portugal, so it was a low-cost company. So I had to like rebook his flight. I paid another like 3,000 or 4,000 to then find out that he can't leave again. So, but at that point, I was like, nothing can surprise me anymore. I also found out that he's not going to Thailand, so that's another like holiday that was about to be cancelled. Or at that time I decided I will just try to do it solo, but you know, like it, so the whole car crash led to basically, I know it's more complicated, but this was like the thing that caused this avalanche. And the thing is that, yeah, he then later couldn't go to Lisbon and couldn't go to Thailand. So the car crash was even like, it turned out to be like 100 times worse and having 100 times worse consequences than one could ever think. So, but this was my life. This was 2025. So I wasn't even surprised at that point. In September, shit hit the fan again. I was at my like most mentally broken self ever. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, and in this state I left for Egypt on a boat, like on the yacht, to see and swim with dolphins for 1 week. Luckily I went with Terka, because if Terka hadn't gone, I wouldn't have gone either. Like I was so down, I was so depressed. I wasn't ready to speak with anyone. I wasn't ready to leave my house. I wasn't ready to leave my bed. Oh my god, that was hell on earth. But luckily I did go and it was amazing. So you can watch the vlog on my YouTube. I decided, after I came back, I also decided to like prioritize everything work-wise. I stopped doing all my hobbies. So during like 2024 and the second part of 2024, I found a lot of hobbies. And also like in 2025, I also like I started loving freediving and stuff, but I decided to stop doing all my hobbies and to only work, because I had so much work that I couldn't just go dancing. I couldn't just read a book. I couldn't just like watch anything or do anything or just go for a freediving workshop. Like I had to work all day long since September. I also had a few more offline events. I went to Prague Holky's Business Zoo, I went to Brno to Ladies Training Conference, and I found a mentor that I paid 200,000 for 3 months because I really needed that business kickstart. And I'm not sure if like it was the best decision ever. To be honest, I regretted it a little bit, but I know that if I hadn't paid that much and if I hadn't have some of these like calls with the mentor, I wouldn't pursue the things that I'm pursuing now. So hopefully the investment will return to me. Okay, I also like finally after the conference, I had this new drive for business I wanted to do, and I did like massive steps. I did massive investments. I made a massive vision for myself, and I finally felt like I know which way to go and how to get out of this like business misery. We also went on a big business studio event, which is again the company that I share with my husband and with our business partner. And we went to a riverboat with there were like 50 people that work in our companies. I also had my teachers there, or at least some of them, like 10 of them, yes. And we also it was amazing. Actually, this was a dream come true for me. I've always wanted to have a big company with a lot of like partners and employees and like big group of people, you know, that we would then meet up with, and basically we would make a dream job for them. So seeing all these people that have a dream job because of us, like it was one of the best memories from 2025. I also then had a private meetup with my teachers. Like currently I have almost 30 teachers on my team, and there was only like 15 of us because a lot of those teachers either like fell sick or they live elsewhere. They don't even live in the Czech Republic. Yeah, I have two teachers in Spain, some in Great Britain, one in Singapore even. So so not everybody could attend, but that wasn't even expected. And yes, and I forgot to tell you that František got banned from flying to Japan as well. So like, because I told you about the holiday that got cancelled in May. That was the Japan, but I wasn't ready to let go of it wholly, and I had a discussion with František, and he promised that there's no way that if I rebooked the flight for a year later that he wouldn't be able to go. So I trusted him. I rebooked it for another, I don't know what it was, like 20 or 30,000. And then I found out that he can't go either. So, So in September, since like handling the holiday in Egypt so well, that's questionable. You'll see it in the vlog, but still, like, I was pretty determined that I can do it alone. I can do it myself. So I was determined to go to Thailand and Japan alone. And I also decided to buy one more holiday in the Maldives in January for 2 weeks. So I was still fully booked for traveling. In October, I had another campaign regarding registrations. It was amazing. It exceeded my expectations, but disappointing again regarding sales. But since I was really like excited about my new mentor cooperation, and I was really hopeful about my business, it didn't disappoint me that much. It was sort of like expected. In October, I also started going back to a co-working office because I needed to really kick up my productivity again. We had an amazing date with František, Korean barbecue. I can highly recommend it. I went on a week-long vacation in the Azores with Terka again. It was amazing. Again, watch the vlog on YouTube. The Azores was one of the best destinations I've ever been to. So definitely go there. It's not expensive. It's beautiful. Yeah, just watch my vlog, steal my itinerary and go. And it was amazing, but I ended up getting sick there, which was the worst thing that could happen. It's funny because before the holiday, I was saying, there's no way I can get sick there because I have so much work when I come back. So being extremely sick, I still had to organize an English picnic, which was our first like offline Výuka online event, community event. I invited my students, my followers from Instagram. We eventually, like 20 or 25 people arrived, and it was amazing. It was really difficult to organize it, to be honest, and since I made it for free, I even like had to invest money in it, invest a lot of time in it, but like it was amazing. Like it definitely did strengthen the community, and I want to continue with these offline events, and there will be another one in February and in May and then in November hopefully. What else? I was also invited to host an event with the British ambassador Matt Field. So I hosted an interview with him, and then I was invited to a reception with him and with some other like valuable and important guests, like very important people, VIPs. There were a lot of them, and it was amazing. I also spent the full weekend in Karlovy Vary attending an AI course, which I loved, and it got me even more excited about AI. I was already excited about AI, but this got me even more excited. Then came November. Again, tons of work. I was maxed out, and because of having so much work to do, I had to decide to let Thailand go to waste because I simply didn't have time. it meant I would lose another 100,000 crowns on the non-refundables because a lot of those things, plane tickets, accommodations, and so on, they were basically all non-refundables. So that hurt. If it was the first holiday of the year, like, it would still hurt, but it wouldn't hurt that much. But let me tell you, like, if I count all of the holidays that I cancel, I think it would make up for a year when I wouldn't have to work at all, because I would just like live off from all the money that I lost on holidays that I never went to. So that's nice. On LinkedIn, in November on LinkedIn, I came across a company doing AI business automations, and we started a like major collaboration, and I decided to like fully migrate my business and change practically everything and sort of start again from scratch. But it was another like 200,000 investment, so that definitely did make me uncomfortable, because at this point I was sort of like running out of my savings, and knowing that we still have to build a house very soon, it made me uncomfortable. I also attended an individual makeup course it was like a 4-hour long makeup course, and the same way the stylist made me extremely confident in my like style of clothing, this makeup course made me confident in putting on makeup. And so I can highly recommend it. I was also invited to a podcast that was fun, and in November I decided to quit networking and offline events because I found other paths that led to results much faster, that are more reliable and far less painful for me. So I didn't go to an event that I paid for in Ostrava, and I sent my amazing friend Daya instead because she lives there. And the reason I did that, because like in November I was so snowed under, and it became really too much. As I told you, since July I've been basically saying yes to everything, and it got out of hands because you can't say yes to everything for so many months in a row. And even this new cooperation with the AI business automations that also started taking up so much time, and it just didn't make sense for me to still continue networking in offline events, because that would always kill at least one day, like at least one full day, but usually it was more than one. For example, the conference in Brno, that took two full days, and at that point, like I couldn't allow myself to do that. And in November I also decided to create a whole new online klub pro samouky, totally reshape it, and come up with Fluent Club, which is hopefully launching on the 1st of January, but I don't think so, because I got a really shocking email this morning that the technical support can't do that, but they told me today on the 31st of December, and they told me that today. I'm mind blown, and it's probably another fuck up of 2025, and I can't wait for 2026 to come tomorrow. Never mind. And in December, it was my birthday on December 3rd, and I turned 27. And guess what? I know very few people listen to this podcast, so I'm just gonna tell you, and I'm definitely not gonna say it publicly, at least until February, March or something. But on December 3rd, on my birthday, in the morning, I found out I was pregnant. So that definitely wasn't planned. It was a shock. But I don't want to say that this was another disaster of 2025, even though I definitely didn't see that coming. We definitely didn't see that coming with my husband. Luckily, at least I have a husband, so it's not like a teenage pregnancy. So, but it's still was quite a shock, and I wanted to travel a lot, 3 days before I found out, I booked another holiday in Mexico. Like that's for like one, no, I'm not gonna even tell you how much it costs because, I'm not gonna. But it was very expensive. And then I found out that I'm pregnant, so I can't go. So that only adds up to the whole crazy sum of holidays that I can't go to. For example, I was supposed to go to the Maldives in 2 weeks. I'm not going, and I don't know what to do with the holiday in Japan that I'm supposed to go to in March. I'm not going alone. I'm not going alone pregnant. Oh my god. So that's that, and plus the holiday in Mexico, and plus our house building definitely isn't going according to plan, and we're not sure if we can move, but that's also like out of question. We have to move. We just don't know where now. So that's fun, but actually even though I wanted to travel a lot, also 2 weeks before I found out, I made this extensive list until 2032. I decided that I would get pregnant in 2032. And I wanted to travel to all of my dream destinations since then. So I planned 4 of my dream destinations a year, and but never mind. The whole point I'm trying to make by just mumbling is that I've always wanted children, and the main reason why I started traveling so much is that I wanted to sort of shorten my time by doing something fun other than work to make the wait for the children shorter, because again, my husband, because of for work reasons, wasn't allowed to have children. So I just have to go with the flow, because if my husband doesn't, it's not that he didn't want to, he just couldn't because of work. So I just had to accept it and go with the flow. And I thought that traveling would be the way out of this misery. Turns out it wasn't. So after the first shock, I became really happy, and I'm so happy that I'm pregnant and that we're having a baby in August. So that's amazing. I also spent a full weekend AI training at an AI training in Prague, Vol 2, which was a disappointment, to be honest. I definitely didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I did in October. Then the final fuck up of the year, our entire Google Classroom, where we, by the way, have over 1,000 of classes of students, and all of the teachers, me included, we work in that one classroom, and all of our student files, all of our materials, all of the materials that I spent 6 years putting together, they are all in the Google Classroom that stopped working due to a Google bug. So everything got sort of deleted, and from December 8th, when it happened, to December 25th, when it started working again, I spent on average 2 hours a day with Google support with Indians. And it was one of the worst periods, because I started getting so sick. The pregnancy nausea and tiredness is a real thing. I never thought I could be so sick. And I have so much work, and I'm so sick. And instead of spending those few hours when I could work, which was basically just only 2 to 3 hours a day, because otherwise I was dead, I would spend these hours chatting with Google support, which didn't understand me. When we had phone calls, I didn't understand them, because their English, their pronunciation, it's just terrible. And on the 25th, they finally told me they can't help me. And guess what? On the 26th, it started working on its own. So I spent 3 weeks chatting with Google support for no good reason. For it to start working again. But like, I'm not complaining. At least it started working, but it was just a huge complication again. So that was like, like when they tell you, like when you find out you're pregnant, you shouldn't stress out. So I feel like December was the most stressful month of the year for me. Like, I can't even tell you how many nights I couldn't sleep because of that issue, because it's really major. It's basically catastrophic for my business in a way. So yeah, let me tell you, I couldn't sleep. I was crying a lot, and yeah, it wasn't nice, but luckily it's working now. Hopefully it'll stick. Yeah. Then I also had my last networking event, which was again Meet and Deal, which was a disaster for me again, because I already knew I didn't want to continue with networking. I knew I would have to like back out of a few deals that I made, and that basically like the whole pregnancy made my B2B plans like completely unattainable, because I have so much work, and I think that I'll be lucky if I manage to get all the work done before August. And so it, like, I had to prioritize a lot, and December was also really difficult because I had to book a lot of 2 coaching calls to help me sort of like make my priorities straight, and I had to eliminate a lot of things, and it was really difficult. So yeah, that definitely didn't add to the good feelings that I definitely didn't have in December. Yeah. And that's it. So yeah, I spent the Christmas with extreme nausea. I'm gonna spend the New Year's Eve probably with nausea as well. We definitely can't go anywhere because I'm sick. And luckily, like, it started getting better like 5 days ago, and now it's not as bad as it was, but it's still bad enough. So, oh my God, wish me luck so that I can survive this first trimester thing, because it's terrible and I have so much work, and I need to work. I need to be productive, and I just can't right now. So that would be 2025. It took a lot of unexpected turns. I hope you enjoyed listening to my podcast. I can't wait to listen to it myself in a few years and remember all the shit that happened in 2025. But we're definitely leaving this year on a positive note, because the best thing that could have happened to me, even though I didn't know that this could be the best thing that could happen, I didn't know it could even happen, is that I'm pregnant. So it of course made me so happy, and it sort of like helped me forget everything bad that happened in 2025. It helped me realize that it all served a purpose, and I'm just gonna like take advantage of it in 2026, because it's gonna be surely beautiful, but definitely not easy. Okay, so let me know if you've finished listening to it, and yeah, I guess talk to you soon, or at least next year as a 2026 recap. Bye!